Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 10 in the brand new Shine Through colorway. Now inside the box they do include a string bag with the shoes themselves because this is a top-end model. The string bag is white in color with black strings, features a black Nike swoosh on one side and your black Nike football branding on the other. Other than that, all you're going to find inside the box, as you guys can see, are the shoes themselves. So I'll get these guys out of the box really quickly and take a closer look at the Shine Through Nike Mercurial Vapor 10. So in today's video, we're going to be taking a detailed close-up look at the colorway itself, talk about the tech specs, and just do a general overview on the overall performance, and also do an on-feet portion to the video where we talk about how these things fit and feel. So if you're interested in the Vapor 10, more specifically the Shine Through colorway, please stick around. There's a lot to learn. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's talk about the colorway. Now, of course, this is part of the Shine Through pack from Nike. So just like the rest of the pack, it features a white base with your accent colors in the swoosh as well as in the sole plate. Really good looking on the Vapor 10 in my opinion. It definitely does look distinctly different than what you're going to find from the Superfly 4, a shoe that I already did a video on. So if you guys missed that and want to check it out, I'll leave an annotation on screen to the Superfly 4 Shine Through colorway review that I did. So again, that annotation is on screen if you want to check it out. Now, of course, it does have a one-piece Tajin synthetic upper, and because of that, you're not going to find black in the tongue area or in the laces like you'd find on the Superfly 4. So again, it does have a distinctly different look. The Tajin synthetic is white but has that pearl finish to it, so it's not necessarily a flat white. It's somewhat shiny in person, which to me just gives it a really premium vibe. And with any white shoes, everyone always likes to ask whether or not they will be easy to keep clean, and the answer to that question is no. But what's nice about the Vapor 10 in particular is that other than the laces, which will of course stain over time, there's really nothing you can do about it, the upper doesn't really have any stitching to it. So yes, it will get dirty, but it will actually be relatively easy to clean, and nothing on the shoe will actually be permanently stained other than, like I mentioned, the laces. So as far as white shoes that are going to be relatively easy to maintain, this would definitely be one of those models to consider. Now, as far as the accent colors are concerned, the Nike swooshes on both the lateral and medial side, as you guys can see, feature that hyper pink base, which is just a bright pink color with a volt yellow accent color on top in the form of that little circular pattern. And then of course a black outline for the Nike swoosh. You're going to find your ACC branding and Nike swoosh on the tongue in black, as well as your Mercurial branding across the back of the heel in black as well. The heel liner is black, the insole is volt yellow, and then of course the sole plate, instead of being black carbon fiber, is solid volt compressed nylon with volt studs. To me, just looks really cool. It has that pop of flash against the white base of the upper, and again, just a really good looking shoe in general. To me, one of the cleanest colorway variations of the entire Shine Through pack from Nike. That's my opinion though. Leave your opinions down below in the comment section. And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the Vapor 10, in my opinion, really is the best Mercurial Vapor model that Nike has ever put out. It's a shame that it's been overlooked because of the release of the Superfly 4, which is an exceptional shoe in its own rights, but in comparison to the Vapor 10, it certainly doesn't have the same performance offerings, I guess is the best way to put it. And if you guys want to see my direct comparison between the Vapor 10 and Superfly 4, I'll leave an annotation on screen, because while they are both in the Mercurial lineup, they are distinctly different in terms of how they feel and the touch on the ball that they provide. Now, if you guys want more details on the overall performance and what you're going to see in the video, check out the full written review on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description, and I'll also leave several annotations on screen to my playtest video, as well as other performance-oriented videos I have concerning the Vapor 10. So be sure to go ahead and check that out if you're interested, again, in more info. For the sake of this video, we will go over all of the tech specs. The upper is made from a remarkably thin Tajin synthetic upper that is also surprisingly soft and flexible. Normally when you make a synthetic material this thin, it tends to have a rigid sensation to it, mainly because in order to keep the upper that thin, they have to add some kind of plastic, some extra reinforcement to stiffen the upper to maintain stability and just responsiveness in general. And they have incorporated somewhat of a support frame on the inside of the shoe that does work with the actual lacing system. Of course, the shoe also features a one-piece design, which I think also aids in the stability. But again, in terms of the shoe being ultra thin, ultra lightweight, really providing getting the truest barefoot feel on the ball. The Vapor 10 really doesn't have any competition in this point in time, and it is truly impressive when you're talking about something that provides that thin of a feel while still being very, very responsive. One of the most responsive shoes currently on the market, in my opinion. So again, if you're looking for something that is as thin as possible, as light as possible, and just surprisingly comfortable as well, the Vapor 10 is definitely a shoe that you should strongly consider. So very thin Tajin synthetic upper, as I mentioned, very little break-in time required, just based on my experiences. You do have the one-piece design, so it doesn't have a tongue. The center area does have a little bit of stretch to it, so given that they do fit you properly and you have no extra room at the end of the shoe, it should kind of stretch out and form to the exact shape of your foot. If you are wearing them a little bit too big, or I suppose if you had extremely narrow feet, there is potential for the actual tongue area to bunch up when you tie the laces tight. But again, if you actually wear these things in the proper size where there's little to no space at the end of the shoe, that should not be a problem for you. And I really like the one-piece design and that you have no overlapping materials, and it just creates a nice seamless touch across the entire foot. Another thing to mention regarding the upper itself is it does have this very fine micro texturing on the surface. Hopefully you guys can see that on camera pretty well. It just gives you a slightly gritty sensation to the touch. It's very similar texturing to what you're going to find on the top end match balls from Nike. And again, it's going to provide some grip on the ball, nothing too much, nothing ridiculous by any means, but just enough there to where you have that little sensation of grip. And it actually does perform quite well in wet weather, which is something that I can attribute to the actual texturing, as well as ACC all conditions control, which acts as your wet control element, something you'll find on all of Nike's top end boots. Of course, it does have the same low cut Mercurial design that you're going to find on all past Mercurial Vapor models. There is an internal plastic heel counter. The heel liner is a nicely padded synthetic leather material. So again, comfort is not an issue with this shoe whatsoever, despite it being very, very lightweight. The insole is fully removable. It features a mesh liner on top, perforations throughout, and it's just made from a single layer of foam, as you guys can see. Nothing spectacular, but it certainly does get the job done and provide some decent step-in comfort for this particular shoe. And then moving on to the sole plate, you have what they call compressed nylon. It's relatively thin. It's the same overall shape as what you're going to find from the carbon fiber sole plate on the Superfly 4. It's just as light, and if anything, I really wouldn't say that there's much of a difference between this sole plate and the carbon fiber one found on the Superfly 4, just based on the overall feel. If you had me blindfolded and you put a sole plate like this on a Superfly 4 and had a carbon fiber sole plate on another shoe, I don't think I could tell the difference. They really do feel extremely similar. They're about the same as far as flexibility is concerned. There's no stud pressure issues at all with either sole plate. And again, while it may not look as premium as the Superfly 4, the performance qualities that it has and the way that it feels, like I said, is pretty much right on par with what you're getting with that Superfly 4 carbon fiber sole plate. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, it's the same exact stud pattern you're going to find on the Superfly 4 and the rest of the Mercurial line. You have 4 bladed studs in the heel and a multitude of bladed studs here, a variety of bladed studs in the forefoot area that just provide really, really good grip when pushing off in pretty much all directions. It's a very aggressive traction pattern, and that's kind of what the Mercurial brand has been known to provide, and that's exactly what you get here with the Vapor 10. If you've worn Mercurials in the past, you really want that ultimate grippy sensation when pushing off and cutting and making quick changes of direction, then the Mercurial Vapor 10 stud pattern, just the Mercurial line in general, is something that you should consider because it really is one of the best firm ground stud patterns currently out there on the market. So that's pretty much it as far as the tech specs of the Vapor 10 are concerned. And next we're going to move on to a quick weigh-in so we can see how lightweight these guys are. In terms of weight, because the Vapor 10 is below the Superfly 4, I don't think a lot of people have been paying attention to what Nike has actually done with this shoe in comparison to the previous model, the Vapor 9. Because believe it or not, the Vapor 10 is not only lighter than the Vapor 9, it's also lighter than the Superfly 4, which you guys are going to see right now in real time. So keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. We're going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 6.3 ounces, which in comparison to the Superfly 4 in the same size is about an ounce less. Is this an extremely noticeable amount of weight? Yes and no. I think that in hand the shoe definitely does feel lighter. On feet it's not quite as apparent, but if you're looking for that weightless sensation on your feet from a shoe that also provides an extremely responsive feel, it has that one-to-one sensation where it's completely seamless and it just wraps your foot absolutely perfectly, and because of that you just don't feel any kind of I guess latency when you're wearing this shoe. The second you push off is the second that the shoe responds, and again, again, it's pretty much weightless. So if that's the sensation that you're looking for, then the Vapor 10 provides that better than pretty much any other shoe on the market right now. All right, here's a look at the Mercurial Vapor 10s on feet, and from right in the box, these things are surprisingly comfortable. So much so that I would say that these are probably the most comfortable Mercurial Vapors that Nike has ever put out. The sole plate is much more flexible from out of the box than what we found with the Vapor 8 and the Vapor 9 with their glass fiber sole plates, despite it looking not as premium, some would argue. And as far as the Tahitian synthetic is concerned, it's ultra thin, but just very soft and flexible. It moves nicely with your foot. Of course, it does have that perfect wrap around your foot as well, where there's no extra space on the inside of the shoe, as you would expect from a pair of Mercurials. And then, of course, there's that one-piece design, which some people don't like, which I can understand why, but for me personally, it just wraps your foot really, really nicely. And again, given that you have the proper sizing, you shouldn't have any issues with the actual material in the middle overlapping. In fact, it should be stretching out a little bit when you slide your foot inside. So again, really, really nice, soft, perfect fit, and just surprisingly comfortable for a shoe that weighs right around the 6-ounce mark. So very impressive design from Nike with the Vapor 10. As far as the overall fit of the shoe is concerned, like I mentioned, it does have that one-to-one, very tight wrap around your foot. Some people will call it a narrow fitting shoe. I wouldn't necessarily say that is the case, but it certainly isn't a good option for wider foot types. If you have wide feet, this is just not the shoe for you. But if you don't have wide feet, these should fit you quite comfortably. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size for the best possible fit. All right, guys, that's it for my review of the Nike Mercurial Vapor 10. A fantastic shoe, one that is often overlooked, honestly. A lot of the focus is on the Superfly 4 when the Vapor 10 really does have a lot to offer. And like I mentioned in my comparison video between the Vapor 10 and Superfly 4, if you're really looking for a more traditional Mercurial experience, the Vapor 10 is the way to go. Superfly 4 is a fantastic shoe, but it's kind of its own thing. If you're looking for the successor to the Vapor 9, the Vapor 10 is definitely it. And again, if you're looking for that ultra lightweight, premium barefoot feel for the ball, the Vapor 10 does that better than pretty much any other shoe currently on the market, at least in my opinion. So a fantastic model, and one that you should definitely consider if it's the type of shoe that you're looking for. Again, if you guys want more information on the overall performance, check out the full written review on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description. Also on that review page, you'll find the high quality images that I took of these shoes myself that'll give you a better idea as to some of the close-up details that you won't see in the online stock photos. And of course, you'll also find buy it now links with the best prices online, including exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you can pick up this colorway as well as all the other currently available colorways below their retail price. So be sure to check that review page out. First link down below in the description if you're interested in a pair of these for yourself. If you guys have any questions or suggestions at all, leave those down below in the comment section, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. That would be greatly appreciated. Of course, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to hit the subscribe button for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. All my social media information is linked down below in the description if you're interested. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.